throw this out to the panel. Something that it was one of the players' names I'd written down tonight. He's already been called out by Alan. Brennan Johnson. He was a player a lot of Tottenham fans weren't keen on. Came in. He's got some speed. Looks exciting. Is he all that? Is he good enough for Tottenham?
No, he can't finish anything. The guy cannot finish. Like, he cannot finish, bro.
He's had one bad game. But
Before
this, he's had really performances. This is what I mean when I say that the Tottenham fan base is reactionary. Before this game, everybody was gassing him up. Now he has one bad game. Oh, yeah, he's crap. Get him out of the club.
Why are we generalizing?
I didn't say that. I'm just saying he can't finish, bro.
Dan, why are you generalizing? Why are you generalizing?
A few chances against West Ham and now get him out of the club.
Dan,
no, but he can't.
he's not
saying he's a bad player.
Dan, you're literally saying the whole Spurs fan base was thinking him. I wasn't. I know loads of people that come onto my channel that weren't, or saying he's indecisive. People in my chat. Again, people just go because he does well. Jay, who comes on my channel a lot, says he has moments. He does. He's got a goal. He's got an assist. He has moments. He's anonymous through the whole Wolves game. Today, he's indecisive. When he meant to when he should have passed, he shoots. When he should shoot, he passes. He's indecisive. He can get to the right positions, but as soon as he gets to that, he's like he doesn't know what to do. He's caught in not just 2 minds, 3, 4 minds. He has no clue what he's meant to do in that final third. The times he could have shot and he decides he wants to pass, he's not good enough. I don't understand why we wasted 55 million on him. I'll call it now. For me, he's not good enough for Spurs. It's a waste of money.
Sorry.
Hey,
No.
Can I just say?
It's wrong.
It's not just Brennan Johnson. It's other people as well.
Wait, Alan. Ange came out and publicly said he wanted Brennan Johnson. And you're saying we shouldn't have signed him. This is the problem with this club. We go out on our own judgment. We sign the players that we want. The manager tells us he wants a certain player. Nah, bin you. We're going to buy whoever the hell we want. We're going to buy Jed Spence. We're going to buy all these bummy players that we want for our future, and we're not going to buy the players that you're asking for. He came out and said that he wanted Brennan Johnson.
Okay, Dan, does every manager get every signing right in every window? No. If it's definitely Ange signing, Ange got it wrong. It's as simple as that.
All right, guys. What about just like how you don't win the league after 10 games? If I don't think a player should be written off after just 15 games. Obviously, exactly. Brennan Johnson is only it's at the start of this rebuild. So obviously, Maddison being out, there's some serious quality out. I'm not saying I agree. Today he frustrated the life out of me. And I was getting really angry. I was shouting and screaming at the TV, watching him. And exactly what you said, Alan, that he was really undecisive. When he should have shot, he passed. When he should have passed, he shot. It was just all over the place. But then so were a few other players as well. So I think, especially in the second half, we really fell away. I think, again, it was almost like a Villa game 2.0. If we had taken our chances in the first half, this could have been a different result. But... we are. Let's be fair though. We are only 15 games into a total rebuild with a completely new manager, and so this is why I'm the same. I honestly had no expectations of this season. Obviously, I've been ecstatic with the start that we had in the first 10 games, but then when you lose the quality that we've lost in this last month. And how unlucky Bentancur comes back after how many months out, and then the guy after just a couple of weeks gets injured again. And he's out for
George, I want to interject for a minute. We will come back to that talking, but I want to keep on this Brennan Johnson conversation for a minute. I don't want to go too off topic. We'll come back to that in a few moments.
Can I say something on it, please?
Yes, go on, Sad.
Listen, I can't lie. As obviously, I'm a rival in it. I'm Arsenal, but Brennan Johnson. When it comes to Ange, there's one thing that is very important about Ange, is his talent ID. That's what people have said about him previously. His talent ID is very good. So when he brings in a player, normally the player works out. I think he's got like a 90% success rate with players. Like even in Celtic, he was bringing in players that people never heard of, and they were working out. They were looking very good. So I'd say with Brennan Johnson, don't get rid of him yet, or don't cancel him out yet, because you could go a whole season and the next season. I look back to the Ben White signing. The first season was fucking horrible. But then the next season, he moved into a different position where he was more comfortable. That's possibly what could happen with Brennan Johnson. He could move into a new position. He'll be a bit more comfortable in that position. work on either assisting or being a facilitator to the game, or maybe work on his finishing. But the manager's brought him in. It's a process, isn't it? It's a process. It's going to take time.
Exactly.
No,
Exactly.
it
That's my
is a
point.
process.
Like players like Højbjerg, Ben Davies, Dyer, all of these kind of players, we know, we've seen them season after season after season. They're this sort of diabolical lot, old, dead wood that we need to get rid of out of this club as soon as possible. But a player that's just come in this summer and he's only had 15 games in the team, a team that is also ravaged with injuries,
and 14 out of them were good.
So I mean, I'm willing to give him time, but he was poor in the last couple of games. He's been really poor. I agree, but I'm willing to give him time. I'm willing to give him until next season, and let's see what happens. But also, I mean, I was really at the beginning of the season before he got injured. I was really I was starting to get impressed with Solomon. And again, the guy goes and gets injured. So, his natural sort of, the player that they're supposed to be pushing each other on, it was Solomon. So there is literally most positions we got no competition at the moment to push the players.
I appreciate that. Alan, from your point of view, why are you not willing to give Brennan Johnson time like other Tottenham fans? What is it about him that makes you think, I don't want to give him that time because I don't think he's good enough? What is it about him that isn't good enough and won't improve, in your opinion?
I've seen it time and time again with certain players who are in that position, wingers who've got speed but not much behind that. I'll put him in the same category that I've put certain players like Alan Maximin, Adama Traore, Dan James. He goes in there with that. He's got speed. He can go. He can't even go at players. He's got speed and he can't even beat a player. The amount of times he got the ball, and I was like, on what's wrong? Go past him, and he just literally hits the ball at the player, and I'm like, it's stuff like that. If I'm I'm consistent.
When did that happen?
Prove wrong. If it's fine, I'm not caught up in my feelings. If I'm wrong, I can come on here and say I get things wrong in football. Unlike other people who do content creation, I can get things wrong. But if I'm going to class other players like that have gone before him in the same category, what I see him doing, I'm going to be consistent and say he's the same as them and tell us otherwise.
Alan, wait, hold on a second. Alan, can I ask you a question? How about Son? Son was playing the same position as Brennan Johnson before, right? When he started on the pitch, tell me something. Didn't Son frustrate the hell out of you? Because he did for me. He did. I thought he was not good enough for this Poch team. So
let's not act like there wasn't a classier player in Son when he first came to Spurs, which made Spurs fans fall in love with him. Yeah, he could be indecisive, but he's nowhere near the same level as Son when he first came to Spurs. Let's not do this.
He was scoring. He was scoring straight away as well.
Come on.
No, hold on. Son scored against Crystal Palace, but after that, he went down. He didn't play that well for Poch. He didn't play that well. He always was coming off from the bench. Let's remember that. Okay, let's just remember that Son was the same as Brennan Johnson, was just frustrating the hell out of all of us.
We're likening Brennan Johnson to Son in their first seasons. Completely different.
Fair enough, gentlemen. I want to go to some of these super chats. I obviously want to speak to Kate and Charles with us as well on the show. Welcome back, mate. Long time no see.
Yeah, it's great to be back.
I want to take this question. Is Ange wrong for not changing his tactic as per this super chat?
Right, first of all, I haven't heard anything of what's been said, but the fact you've got Harry and Dan on says to me there's been mass delusion and crying and God knows what else while I've been gone.
Carry on.
Second of all, look, as I've said 1,000 times, right, I didn't want Ange, he wasn't my choice, but I like the guy. But anyone that says he needs to change his tactics knows nothing about this guy. He will not change his tactics. He just tweaks it slightly. Tonight, I thought he made a few mistakes. I'm not going to lie. He moved Kulu back on the wing, which is a disaster pass because he's useless on the wing. He's got no pace at all. He brought in Højbjerg, who was diabolical. He took the Celso off and brought Skip on. Diabolical decision.
What were you saying about Lascelles the other week, though? Didn't I call you?
Oh, Harry, please don't talk to me. I can't
It's true,
cope with
though.
you tonight.
You were cussing the guy a couple of weeks ago.
I've just watched
Now
an
you're
hour and a
making him
half of
not
shit.
go
I
off.
don't want to listen to your voice.
Harry,
right?
please let her talk.
Celso
Just let her
Ignore
is
talk.
not good enough. You saw that today. Lo Celso isn't good enough. If you
What's
think
got
Lo
to do with the
Celso
last
will
game?
get into any top 6 team in the league, you are massively deluded. He's
Wait,
not good enough.
But you just
Brennan
said his mistake
Johnson
was
is
taking
not
him
good
off.
enough.
You
Right?
just said his mistake was taking
Did
him
you not
off.
just, Kate, listen to what you just said.
God.
Did you not just say, why is he bringing Skip on instead of Lascelles, though?
Lo
You just
Celso
contradicted
offers
yourself.
more creativity than Skip, darling.
But he's
Listen to
useless,
what I'm
isn't he?
saying. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Shut up and listen.
But he's useless.
Right?
You just said he's useless.
He's better than Skip. Skip's not even useless. He's absolutely
Skip's a
diabolically
defensive
bad.
midfielder. Lo
Can
Celso's
you
an
let me
attacking
finish the
midfielder.
sentence, please? Terry was actually talking to me, not you. So if you
Okay,
just be
I'm
quiet
just
for a
saying,
minute.
just trying to
right?
put you in your
Lo
place.
Celso was one of the only players we had on our pitch tonight with any sort of creativity at all. And he took him off and brought on Skip, who is diabolical.
Fact.
So yes, in some respects, Ange is to blame for things, but he can only work with what he's got. And this is why people were saying the transfer window was marvellous. People like them 2 donuts up in the corner. Well, it wasn't, because we're left with all this deadwood crap like Dyer, Davis,
When did I say
Hoybier,
the window was
players that wouldn't get into a top 10 team in the
Fact.
Premier League. And this is why Tottenham, all of a sudden, these boys were like, oh, we're going to win the league. Angie's everything. To, oh, well, you know. Do you know what? You need to wake up, right? Our team depth is 0. We've got nothing. You only had to look at our bench tonight. It was diabolical. So you can't put it on Ange, because it's like anything. You can only work with what you've got in front of you. So unless Levy backs him, this guy is going to be sacked very soon, because Levy won't put up with it. When the crowd starts turning, which they will, people were leaving early again tonight. You haven't seen it this season, but you saw it tonight. And this is when Levy starts thinking, oh, hang on, the Levy outers are back. Oh, I know, I'll sack the manager. And then you be crying.
Okay, can I ask you a question? I'm going to go to you in a minute. Young Daniel, I'm going to come to you in a second, fella. If you end up in 8th or 9th position by the end of this weekend, if results don't go your way, do you think 6 games without a win, 7 games without a win, being mid-table, there will start to be more Spurs fans, especially at the ground, going, hang on a minute, the football looks pretty, but we're as bad as Chelsea now. We're well below Man United, who have been horrendous. Do you think there'll be that change?
I think you'll see a lot of the Levy out agenda come back, because that's all gone really quiet, because while we're winning, everyone's quiet and happy. And the thing is that when the Levy out chants start, the protests start back, Levy does what he always does and passes the buck to the manager and sacks him. I think Ange is going to have a bit of time on his hands. He's very popular with the fans, but at the same time, how many times can you say, oh, it's another loss, it's another loss, it's another loss, before you say, hang on a minute, we're a top Premier League club? Whether people laugh at that and say, we're not, yes, we are. We're Tottenham. We've got, I know this is such a cliche and I hate saying it, we've got the best stadium and training facilities, which don't win you trophies. But do you know what I mean? We're a big club. You cannot have lost, draw, lost, and then it keeps going L without asking questions. But it's all going to be on Levy. I've said it all along. He either backs him in January or Angela ends up getting sacked. It's as easy as that.
Yeah. This what I was going to say was, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, Kate. But I do think that, obviously, bearing in mind of the quality of the players that are out at the moment, I think that buys them a little bit of time. But it just it's going to,
It's only Maddison and Van de Ven, really.
Bentoncourt.
Bentoncourt.
Yeah, but we wasn't expecting to have Bentoncourt back right at this time. You can't really say that.
No, we were. He was due to come back in November, Kate. He was always coming back in November.
No. Originally it was December. December, right? But either way, I wouldn't class him so much. But Maddison is a massive loss, and so is Van de Ven.
Exactly. So is Van de Ven. Because you look at just those 2 players and the impact that they've had on that team. Without, even at the beginning of the season, if we didn't have Van de Ven and how well he started, and same with Maddison, there's no way we would have won those first 10 games, so many of those 10 games. What I'm saying is, obviously, in view of the quality of the players that are out at the moment, I think it buys both Ange and Levy time until January. Now, it all depends on what happens in the window. if they bring in a couple of decent players and all of a sudden the results starts improving, then I think that then buys them time until summer. But if Levy doesn't back him, then I think people will turn on Levy first before they turn on Ange, because they will just say, well, what can Ange do when Levy isn't backing him?
Do you know what I would say, though? And I'm going to say this as a neutral. I actually understand where you're both coming from. You got to remember this, though. Levy's conniving. Levy will be the one that starts talking to the media. The players think this, and this person thinks that, or a disgruntled player. Levy will throw the manager under the bus. And the problem is with most fan bases is they fall for it.
Exactly.
It's like at Man United right now. I've got my issues with Ten Hag, but none of it has got anything really to do with the players not wanting to train so hard, or the training methods, or the tactics per se. It's about what I was expecting him to implement, and he's now telling us he's not. Mine's very separate. I'm not deluded to the fact that the Glazers will allow certain stories to be leaked, so all the attention is on the manager and not upon them, and that is what may happen.